So lads, welcome back to the Copologic channel. It is this fella back on match preview duty, and I'm going to be doing the Spurs versus Liverpool game in the Premier League today. So as per usual, we're going to be looking at how both teams have started, the last 5 games between us both, how the Reds might line up at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as well as a score prediction at the end. So diving straight in, if we have a look at how they've started the season, it's actually pretty decent so far. They've played 6 games, they've got 4 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses. They've scored 15 goals and only conceded 7, which gives them a goal difference of 8. And as you should be able to work out, that gives them a total points tally of 14. They drew their last game and won the last 4. So if we explore those past 5 games, that draw that they had last time was against Arsenal, and you could argue that's probably actually a good point. I haven't been back to watch it because the Liverpool game was on at the same time last week, but I believe that Romero just gave away 2 easy goals in one way or another, so actually should have really been 3 points to Spurs if you look at it that way. But the way I view it is like, yeah, okay, maybe you could argue the Spurs should have gotten the win there, but I think that's more because Arsenal dropped the ball more than anything else. And if we want to avoid the same fate, then we just need to make sure that we're on it, and if we are on it, then I believe we can take a win. Now, their game before Arsenal was the Sheffield United game where they pretty much won it in overtime. I think it's safe to say if they show the same sort of performance that day as they do for our game, then we will absolutely come away with a win. They conceded 1 goal, which we would absolutely definitely score more of. Sheffield United managed to score 1 goal, but we would definitely score more than that if it was the same defence that day. And they only scored their 2 goals in added time, so, you know, I feel like we'd be able to hold out longer than Sheffield United did and also score more if the performance from them was the exact same. Maybe a mixture of both the feelings from those results are enough to, you know, drive them into a win against us, or even a draw against us, but you know, we can hope that the performance from those 2 games are the same, because if they are, I think we'll get a win, honestly. Before that, their game was against Burnley where they won 5-2, so pretty dominant display, but it is against Burnley, not to try and discourage or, you know, disrespect Burnley in any way, but they are potential relegation candidates, so that sort of says enough, really. So overall, all the fixtures they've had have probably gone the way you'd expect them to, or maybe not the fixtures themselves, but the amount of points they've amassed from those fixtures. You could maybe, as I said before, you could maybe argue the fact that the Arsenal one was a good point, but everything else on there, you'd probably expect, like the home win to United, the away win to Bournemouth, the away win to Burnley. Yes, they won against Sheffield United at home, but that was very close, so maybe that's the offset. As I said before, you could probably look at the Arsenal game as a good point, so. Now, just in case you need reminding, Liverpool have also started the season strong, pretty much the exact same, but with 1 less draw and 1 more victory. So 6 matches played, 5 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. We've scored 15, we've only conceded 5, so we've actually conceded less than them. Scored the same, but conceded less. Gives us obviously a goal difference of 10, and we've amassed 16 points, as you can probably, or should probably be able to work out. And looking at that West Ham fixture, it was actually a pretty dominant display. There was periods of the game where they were on top for a bit, but that seems to be the standard with Liverpool nowadays. Like, we tend to have an early conceded goal, and then we end up winning 3-1. And largely, it's comfortable. It's just usually for like a spell of the game we're not as on it. Now, if we look at the last 5 games between the teams, we actually haven't lost any of them. We did the double over them last season, both at home and away. The season before, we drew both of the games to them, and the season before, we beat them again, did the double at home and away. In fact, actually, the last time we lost a game to Spurs was 2017, so 6 years ago nearly. And to be fair, actually, that's probably the strongest they've looked in about 6 years, so that's mad, because that's without Harry Kane, but Son and Maddison have definitely been key players for them. We have to 100% look out for them too. And between that and their manager being really likeable and giving them the new manager bounce, like, they're onto something, like, they've got something going here. It will definitely be our biggest test of the season so far, I think. But anyway, with that all covered, let's actually have a look in who I think might actually walk out for us at the stadium. Obviously, I've got that man in goal. Like, I don't even know if I have to really justify at this point. He's just brilliant. He's probably the world's best keeper, in my opinion. So he's in. For the centre of the back line, I've obviously gone with Virgil because he's served his suspension and he's back in the team. And Konate because he's probably our second best, maybe our best centre-back. So that partnership seems to be the one we want to move forward as our starting 11. And with both of them getting some previous minutes in the games against Leicester and against Wolves, I think they're fit and ready to go back into the starting 11 again for this game. And to complete the backline, I've gone with Robbo, which I feel like is a fairly obvious shout. I don't think Tsimikas is quite ready to make that step up and become part of the starting 11. And we received confirmation that Trent was training and seems to be fine and appears to be, or sounds to be, back in the starting 11 anyway. At least in the matchday squad, but I think if he's fit, he's going to start. I've gone with a McAllister, Szoboszlai and Jones midfield because that seems to be the one we keep starting and it's not failed us yet, so why change it? McAllister's doing okay as the 6. I don't really want him there, but he's being played there, so this is a prediction, not a wish list. Szoboszlai is just amazing, in fine form. That goal against Leicester was just a chef's kiss moment. And Jones has his own little techniques that he does and wins the ball back and presses high and is really good at doing that. So I think Klopp will remain unchanged in his midfield. For the wingers, I've gone with Diaz because I think Diaz is actually our strongest left winger. Definitely the most direct one. Gakpo is definitely more of a versatile, will hold up the ball, will keep us possession more. But if we're looking for threat, Diaz is definitely the better one for that. And Salah is Salah. He's like Alisson. I don't have to explain that, do I? The striker role always baffles me because there's never like a rhyme or reason as to when he picks Jota and when he picks Núñez. But for this one, I've gone with Núñez because I believe that he's my most direct forward. Similar argument to Diaz, where he's the most threatening forward. Jota's more of like a poacher to me and will, make something from nothing, but will stay quite high up and is best in the box. And Gakpo is more of like a false nine kind of striker where he'll drop back into midfield and help with regaining possession or even retaining possession. And I honestly don't really rate Romero as a defender. I think he's got weaknesses in his game, and I think Klopp will also see that. And I think Klopp will see that Darwin can get those weaknesses out of him. I don't think he handles chaos well, and Darwin is pretty much just chaos incarnate, so I think he'll be able to exploit Romero massively. Now, score predictions. So, I could just take the easy option and try and predict the 3-1 again. But I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to say this is going to be a close game. I think this will break our 3-1 streak. I don't think we'll be able to keep Maddison and Son quiet with how we've been so far this season with conceding the odd sloppy goal. I think they'll definitely score. I just think they'll score 1. And I reckon we've got it in us to be able to score 2. So 2-1's not a mad shout. It's not a far cry from 3-1. But honestly, this would be a massive statement. If we come back with a win, this would be a massive, massive result for us. I think, as I said before, this is definitely our hardest test of the season so far. It'd give us so much ammunition to make the argument that we're in the title race and we could even compete with City for it. Because right now, Tottenham have the same sort of attention on them as we do, which is like possible title contenders. And if we make a statement by beating them, then we're automatically put favoured above them. I mean, even look at the prediction down here. You've got Liverpool winning 42%. So we're already slightly above them. But that's far more balanced than it has been so far this season. I reckon we're capable though. If we can keep Maddison and Son quiet enough, then I think we can allow our attackers to exploit their defenders. The key will definitely be that midfield battle and that battle between Son and Trent. If we can have Ibu really help out and cover Trent, allow him to bomb forward a little bit more, and if McAllister, Jones and Szoboszlai can keep Maddison calm, then I think between Diaz, Salah and Núñez, we can definitely score at least 2. But yeah, big game up ahead. Let's see how we get on. But that is going to wrap the video up here. So if you did enjoy it, and if you agree with my opinions on the score prediction, the lineup, please leave a like down below. If you disagree in any way, just let me know what you think your score is going to be, what you think the lineup's going to be. Let me know in the comments. As always, please do subscribe as well with notifications on. We've got more videos on the way, and your interaction helps us grow our channel, so we'd massively appreciate it. But anyway, that's going to be it for me today, so I'll see you lads after the victory. In a bit, lads.